a viewer asked me to speak about some of the mistakes that I have made in my fish keeping hobby. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Why don't I tell you about the stupid things I've done so that you don't do them? I'm only human, right? Hopefully you can learn a little some from my pain and stupidity. So yeah, like I said in another video that I just did, if you have any questions or something you want me to make a video about, go ahead and type it up in the little comments down below and I'll do it. I freaking do it. Don't threaten me with a good time. Anywho, Fluco 3487. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If not,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Speak about the mistakes you've made coming up in the game and accidents that killed your fish unintentionally. Okay, you asked for it. You got it, sister. So, if I had to think about some of the mistakes that I've made in the 25 years that I've been doing this, I gotta admit there's three big ones that stand out. And I got to go back to the very first one. The very first mistake is when I first started out. I've told this story many times. I didn't start out doing aquariums. I started out as a reptile dude. And I was a reptile manager at a small mom and pop fish store. But of course, people don't care. They wanted their fish. So they'd be like, hey, you worker, get me this fish. So I started learning about fish, and people would ask me about fish, and I thought I knew what I was talking about. Like a lot of people who work at fish stores, they learn a little bit, and they all of a sudden become experts. I was that guy. So people would ask me questions, and I would give them advice because I was an expert, because I had a shirt and a name tag and everything. And people would ask me what to do about, they just set up a tank and they had cloudy water, and I was like, oh, you got a bacteria. What you need to do is you need to take your filter and you need to clean it out all nice and clean, get all that gook out of it. And I knew nothing about the beneficial bacteria. I knew nothing about the nitrogen cycle. I knew and so many people, so many people probably killed their fish behind my advice. Now, granted, I did it too, but after a while I learned, and it wasn't the fact that I learned how to not kill the fish. I got lazy and stopped cleaning my filter, and my fish started living, but I kept telling people to do it because I worked there, right? I was lazy not doing it myself, and my fish were living, but as an employee working at the fish store, I kept telling people to do it. Hey, listen, if you live in Hampton, Virginia, 25 years ago when you went to a pet land on Todd's Lane, and you talked to me about how to take it, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know, but I know now. So yeah, that was the biggest dumb mistake that I did back in the day that killed not only my fish, but killed many other people's fish. I killed other people's fish out of not knowing the nitrogen cycle. So I preach the nitrogen cycle up and down, sideways, left and right, all day, every day, because that stands out in my head. I was a dodo. The second one that stands out the most, I did a video about, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it up there. I blame the Lord. Okay, I blame the Lord on this one because I don't feel like it was just my fault, all right? I feel like it had to have some divine intervention. Either a lot of things went wrong and God Almighty smited my fish tank, or it was me. But here's the scenario. I was working all kinds of hours. I had a 75-gallon packed with all kinds of gorgeous male peacock. I loved the tank. It was gorgeous. The male peacocks swimming and going in colors and blink, blonk, boom, bing, bong, bop. It looked beautiful. And I was working crazy hours, and I had a canister filter on it, and I had a power head that I use to make the top of the water go to provide oxygen, and I had a heater in there, and everything was beautiful. And I neglected to do water changes, but I was still feeding because you gotta feed the fish. They look cool when they do that. And I remember I came home one day and the power head with the suction cups, it fell, and it was pointing down. It was no longer making the water go across the top. There was no commotion in the ocean. I didn't clean the canister filter, so that the water coming out of the canister filter was like a little trickle because it was so clogged up. And I wake up I come home, I notice this, and I sit down on the couch tired, and I notice what is going on, and I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I wake up the next morning, all my fish are dead. And I'm like,
Oh, dip. That sucks.
and as I'm, netting the fish out, my hand just happens to touch the water, and I notice that the water is hot. Hot. Heaters are the most unreliable thing in the aquarium hobby. It really is it's one of the most necessary and unreliable things in the aquarium hobby. I've had at least 3 times where my heaters, they busted on me, and they boiled my fish basically. I had fish soup in my tanks where I felt the water was hot. Now, when you have hot water does terrible things for oxygenation. It makes oxygenation of the aquarium really, really bad. Now, the combination of me not doing proper water changes from working so much, me not doing the canister filter because canister filters out of sight, out of mind, me not fixing my power head and making the water, making the commotion in the ocean, and me waiting till the next day, and the heater increasing the temperature, lowering the oxygenation, just killed all my fish. So that I learned from that one is don't put off tomorrow what you can do today, or get good with God, because that was a whole lot of things that went wrong at one time. The canister filter, the power head, and the heater, and the maintenance thing, all just at one time. So it was just a terrible combination of things that only one, it's either him or me, and it can't be me. And the last thing that I've done that killed my fish, that I've learned, a mistake that I did, it happened just recently. It happened in that tank right there with my female flower horn, Lucky. If you've been watching my videos for any time now, for the last 6 years, I had a little bitty Florida flower horn, and I grew it out, and it was Lucky, and she bit me, and she drew blood, and she was a star. She was a main attraction. A lot of people loved Lucky. She was very beautiful, colorful, and energetic, and violent. She was violent is what she was. Now, Lucky got a case of the bloat. At the same time, she was egg bound because she was looking at this guy right here, and she developed her colors, the stripes for eggs and all that. So at the same time that it was egg, had eggs in her, and she got constipated, and the constipation was due to not having enough fiber in her diet, which is totally my fault. I realized that when you have a cichlid, right, which a lot of us have cichlids, and we feed our cichlids high protein diets, which when they're growing out is fine. I get it. You want them to grow out. You want them to grow big faster. So protein does that. But once they've grown, let's go ahead and back off of that protein, and let's go ahead and work on their guts and slow down on that protein and give them more fiber, because they're not going to be growing as fast, when they're that big. Their growth rate slows down tremendously. So what are you doing? What was I doing? What was I thinking? Like I was going to grow her out even fat. Like she's not going to get that big. So what was I thinking by trying to feed her so much protein? And I always preach, change up your foods, change up your foods. And I was changing up her foods. I was changing up her foods by giving her different sources of high protein foods. And not really giving her different sources of as much fiber. Now, I was giving her some fiber, but not giving her a higher source of fiber. So I kind of wasn't really practicing what I preach, or I really had to readjust my mentality towards feeding grow out fish opposed to full grown fish, growing young cichlids opposed to adult cichlids. That's what I'm taking out. The reason why those three stand out is because those three taught me lessons that stick with me today, you know, and I use those lessons to do my videos and help other people. And hopefully, you know, those bad things that happen to me, I can relate to you guys, and you guys don't have to go through them. Or, you know, if you do go through them, you know why. Yeah, I hope this helps. I hope my pain and sorrow gave you some clarity. Erafluco 3487. Thank you for the comment, and I appreciate you. And like I said, in the comments, let me know what you want to know. Let me know what you want to know. Maybe these videos will help you out with something too. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.